And we are live, guys. Women of high value, welcome to our channel where we're going to talk about the most important decision that you will ever make in your lifetime. Now, if it's the most important decision you will ever make, it relates to your happiness. It relates to you achieving your goals. It relates to who you will become throughout your life's process. The most important decision that you will ever make is who you marry. That's right. Who you marry is the most important decision. And I'm going to give you 4 quotes from Warren Buffett, the top 3 richest guys in the world, of what he says about it. Quote number 1, 2 turning points in my life. One when I came out of the womb, and one when I met Susie. That was his wife. What happened with me would not have happened without her. Number 2, you want to associate with people who are the kind of person you'd like to be. You will move in that direction. And the most important by far in that respect is your spouse. I can't overemphasize how important it is. Number 3, marry the right person. I'm serious about that. It will make more difference in your life. It will change your aspirations, all kinds of things. Number 4, number 5, number 3. Anyway, who you marry, which is the ultimate partnership, is enormously important in determining the happiness in your life and success. Now that's Warren Buffett. He became massively successful. Some people say that behind a successful man is a greater woman. And I agree to that fact because personally I've been married now for almost 10 years and I would not have been where I am today from a mental standpoint, from a health standpoint, from just an understanding of life and everything in my life without my wife. That decision that I made was massively important. And I'm so grateful that it was her because that has helped a lot in terms of my progression. And she's opened up my eyes about so many things. Like, she helps me to think bigger. She helps me to, take care of things in the short term so that we can take care of the long term. She helps me to improve myself by giving me immediate feedback on my failures and my shortcomings. That allows me to know where I need to improve so that the improvement can happen. She basically clears the path so that I can succeed by showing me what she wants and by helping me understand her. It could have been anyone, and I would have made it work with anyone, but she's the one who had the opportunity of being my wife. So, how do you make that decision? How can you make sure that you do make the right decision? Well, first of all, you need to know that that decision is not based upon emotion. It is the worst predictor of a happy and successful marriage. Emotions. And what's unfortunate about that is that women make most of their decisions based upon emotion. And if that's not going to help you in terms of marriage, then what will? When choosing a marriage partner, the best way to do that is to get your father's approval. If you don't have your father's approval, then I recommend that you find yourself some sort of father that you look up to. If it's your boss at work, or if it's someone else who has no sexual interest in you, none whatsoever, but who you trust and can talk and communicate with. Your job is to make sure that he agrees that this boy is the right one for you. My wife didn't need that. She the way that process happened was a bit different, because she ended up seeing me and noticed that I was busy with other girls. Like, I wasn't available at the time she first saw me. The following year, I actually was, because my previous girlfriend had just broken up with me in February, and I had put my eyes on someone else. And during that time frame, this was actually the first time she saw me. So I had just broken up, and I had put my eyes on another girl, and I was gonna get her. So Alexis basically saw me in between there, but didn't manage to, there was nothing happened out of that. And then that second girl also broke up with me. Yeah, interesting, huh? And from that, I was now available when we met again the following year. And I saw her a couple of times in between that, but she lived in England and she just came to visit to Norway once in a while. But also during that time frame when she came again and wanted to, be boyfriend girlfriend, during that time frame I also was interested in another girl again who had left to America, which I wasn't sure if everything was going to work out. But Alexis at that point knew that this was her moment to shine. And she basically convinced me simply by being feminine, by being beautiful, by being submissive, by cooking for me, by just having her in my life at that time was a motivation for me. And I basically set aside my thoughts about this other girl in America, and I went head first, and we fell in love. But that was because of her efforts in securing me. What she knew about me was, she was attracted to me. That's great. And that's kind of the emotion thing. And that was important. She also knew that other girls were interested in me, so she wanted to make sure she got me. But also she knew from our conversations together that I was already a big thinker. I was a massive thinker. I thought massively about the long term. I wanted a family. I wanted kids. And I wasn't interested in just like a short-term fling or short-term something. I wanted to establish myself because I had massive goals in my life, and I knew in order to accomplish them, I would need someone to support me. And another one, she also knew that I was willing to improve. How did she know that? Because I could have amazing conversations with her pretty much about anything. I had opinions about pretty much about anything. I was a reader. I am still a reader today. That's a very good sign of getting a great husband. Someone who cares, someone who's actually, he's willing to learn and improve from other people and gain from their experience and implementing those things into his life. Don't marry an academic, a teacher. That's not interesting at all. You want to marry a guy who has huge ambitions in terms of entrepreneurship, who's a big thinker, and he's not just going to settle with the normal job. Job stands for just over broke. You don't want to marry a guy who is just over broke. Trust me, you want to marry an entrepreneur who is a fast learner, who reads, who watches YouTube in order to educate himself, and who consistently obsesses about success. You don't want to stand in the way of that. You want to come along for the ride. That is how you make sure that you secure your happiness when you do that. So it's not based upon emotion of you being in love. Love is whimsical. Love disappears. Love goes away. In fact, the moment my wife married me, she wasn't in love with me anymore. That's right. My wife, when we got married, we've been married for 9.5 years. The moment we got married, I was a virgin, I might add. The moment we got married, my interest in her was dramatically higher than her interest in me. And the moment that happened, our relationship just fizzled down completely. And I had to basically spend the next few years trying to figure out what was going on. This is why I know so much about the woman. I mean, no offense to you girls who think that I don't know, or thinks that men know nothing about women. We don't. But there are some of us who take the time to study and to improve and to understand. And once we understand it, life becomes so much easier. Really, seriously. And you want a guy like that. You want a guy who truly wants to figure out how things work, how you work, how he works, what motivates him in general. And one last thing about who you should marry. You want to marry someone who is emotionally stable. No matter what you throw at him, what you lash at him, anything. If, like my wife and I, before we got married, we never had one escalated argument. Ever. Now that might seem like, okay, like, how was there any traction at all? Tons of attraction before we got married. And no escalated arguments at all. And that progressed and continuously have progressed throughout the years. It was basically 5 years ago that she finally started expressing her emotions and getting things out on the table. Before then, I didn't really know anything was wrong. But 5-6 years ago, she was like, okay, that's it. Actually, it might have been 7 years ago. But she basically brought it all out because I was willing to listen. I was willing to improve and I wanted to figure it out. And we did. And that's why I'm sharing this stuff with you guys now, so that you don't have to go through the same mistakes that we did. So that you don't have to go through the same mistakes that all the other people out there. Today, my wife and I are so happy together. We're so happy together that we enjoy spending time apart. And we're excited to see each other again. When we, you know, my wife is in America right now. I'm here in Norway, you know, preparing and waiting for my visa. We talk on WhatsApp every single day. And we always laugh and we can talk for hours. And it's like our relationship is so deep right now. And it's just going to get deeper and deeper and deeper. So if you're afraid of getting married because you're going to lose the attraction, yeah, it might happen in the beginning. But if you find a guy who's a big thinker, he thinks long term and has family as one of his highest values in life, he's willing to improve and he's an entrepreneur. He's not going to settle for a job. Then you're on the right track. But you know what? That is hard to find all on your own. You need to involve others in finding the right guy for you. And allowing your parents to participate in that, I personally think is an amazing strategy if they know the information that's on my channel and on my Men of High Value channel. Anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. I hope that you consider this most important decision and know that me and my wife are completely not normal when it comes to marriage age. In Norway, it's like 32 and 33 years old, I believe, of when men and women get married. I was 23. She was 22. And we're happily married. Massively. Getting married at an earlier age, people say that, oh, that's dangerous. You need to know who you're going to marry, blah, blah, blah. If you find a guy who's got these things down, you can marry basically as young as you want. You know, I don't recommend. It's not legal before 16 anyway. But if you know that he's the one and you want to be with him for the rest of your life, your parents agree, and he checks this list out, and he never gives up, he never quits. Getting married at 16 is not a big deal. 17. 18 is great. And if you follow this channel and help him to subscribe to Men of High Value channel, you're going to have a great life. This is the Women of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. I'll see you again tomorrow.